Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. Today's video is going to be a little different because I'm going to be answering all of your questions, but they're not just any questions. All of these questions today are dedicated to YouTube. So these are YouTube specific questions. I thought this would be helpful in case anyone out there is thinking about starting a channel, just to know a little bit more about the behind the scenes, kind of how I learned. I have a ton of really good questions in here. I skimmed through them. I haven't really prepared. I'm gonna just kind of answer as I go. So I have a good amount of questions and I figured we would go ahead and get right into it. So the first question is by Princess Dia 143. When did your viewership start picking up? So I would have to say my viewership is kind of off and on. I've been pretty steady over the years. I want to say I started my channel back in maybe like the 2018 time frame. I could be wrong. It's kind of hard to tell because my channel a few years ago had actually gotten hacked. I did a whole video on it, but someone hacked into my channel. I lost a ton of subscribers. It was pretty hard for me. Because of that, I ended up losing a lot of my videos. I wasn't able to recover all of my videos, excuse me, and get all of them back. So I'm thinking my channel started around 2018, but my viewership kind of ebbs and flows, I would say. Some videos get more views, others don't. For example, of course, people love unboxing videos, so those tend to get more views. But if I do more of a get ready with me video, that doesn't really get as many views. But if I were like specifically a makeup channel and I did a get ready with me, that might get more views. But on my channel, I have decided to do like a bunch of things, right? Like I do unboxings, handbag reviews, beauty, I do vlogs, but I think because I do so many, I don't necessarily have a specific niche. I have like kind of a plethora of viewers, so what they'll do is they'll kind of pick and choose. For those that kind of started with me through makeup, that's how I started my channel. They might like the get ready with me's. For those who discovered me through like unboxings, they might prefer those. So it's kind of all over the place. So I would say my viewership kind of like ebbs and flows. There wasn't a specific time that it really started picking up. Sorry if that doesn't really answer your question. Princess Dia 143, how long did it take you to learn to edit your videos? You're so good at it. Oh my gosh, that is such a huge compliment because I don't think that I am. And oh my gosh, I have had to research everything. The good thing about YouTube is if there's something to be learned, YouTube probably has a video on it. So I have just Googled and YouTubed everything that I learned. I'm really not the best at it. I kind of taught myself by watching videos, but I definitely like to take the easy approach, and I think that's because I do have such a busy life, as I'm sure everybody does. But the way that I do my videos, and I think I've mentioned this before, but I film on a Canon EOS 90D, and I will link that down below. I'll link everything I talk about down below if that helps. I film on my camera and then I transfer the footage to my iPhone. Now the reason I do this is because that way if I want to edit and I don't have time, like let's say I'm taking my daughter to practice, I can edit on my phone, or let's say we have a car ride, I can edit on my phone. But the problem with that, I edit on Imovie. So Imovie doesn't really have all the fancy things that something like Final Cut Pro might have. So I will transfer the footage to my phone and then I'll edit on iMovie and I will upload it directly from my phone. I probably should branch out, but I know that if I edit on my computer, it would take me so much longer. And right now I just kind of have a system. So I don't know how to use Final Cut Pro. I know a lot of YouTubers do use that. Like I said, I probably should branch out, but the best way to learn, in my opinion, is by YouTubing it, honestly. Princess Dia 143, love your videos. How do you make your thumbnails? Do you use an app? Okay, so for thumbnails, I actually use two apps. I use Phonto, which is on my phone. It's really easy. So all I'll normally do is like take a still shot from my camera, right? And then I will upload it to Phonto, and then on Phonto you can add in fonts, If I want to be a little more detailed, like let's say I want, you know, a thumbnail, remove the background, I'll use Canva. Now Canva, I do actually have a paid membership to Canva because I use Canva for all sorts of things, but I would say Canva is your best bet. I have both of those on my phone. Phonto, I just have the free version, and that works as well if you just want kind of like the basic thumbnail. But Canva is definitely, in my opinion, that's the best way to go because you do have a lot of different templates that they give you, but I still have not found my exact style yet. I kind of go back and forth with it. So, you know, just play around with it, but Canva gives you a ton of different ideas. Becca Boone 1984, does YouTube tell you not to disclose your earnings? No, not at all. I can freely disclose my earnings if I want. YouTube has a whole YouTube analytics page, so you can view like what videos performed the best, you know, how much you made in a month. But they don't tell you you can't disclose at all. Courtney B. Lux, what is your editing process, apps used, and any tips on editing efficiently? So yeah, for editing efficiently, definitely filming on my camera and transferring it to my phone. You don't have to do that. You could also use your iPhone. The most important part, in my opinion, of filming is lighting. So if you have your iPhone, these cameras are so good nowadays, and you just put it in front of natural light, you can get good quality content. In my opinion, the most important part of it, that you're putting good content out there. And if you do put good content, you know, people will come back. So if you're filming with your phone, it's not like a huge deal, if that makes sense. But so what I will do, film with my camera, transfer it to my phone, I edit on Imovie, and then once it's done on Imovie, I export it and then I upload it to YouTube. And before I upload it to YouTube, like before I fully publish it, I'll add in all the links, add in the description. So I have a pretty good process now for editing, and I make it pretty easy. But I think what a lot of people do is transfer their footage to their computer, and then they edit on their desktop computer or laptop, and that will enable them to do a little more fancy editing, and then they'll upload from there. If you want really good editing, that's probably the way to go. Your phone is just going to give you the basics. There are so many great apps too. I use iMovie, which is free, but you can also use, sometimes for Instagram, I'll use Inshot. That's a little better. So there are just so many great apps that you can use. Ronin, how did you learn how to edit your videos, such as how to put overlays? Thanks. Honestly, I just Googled it and YouTubed it, how to insert overlays. And if you're not familiar with overlay, what an overlay is, I will insert one right here. Let's say I'm talking about a handbag and I want to show a little more detail, so while I'm talking I can insert an overlay. It's actually pretty easy in iMovie. All you do is you film the footage, and then I have my raw content, and you can just hit the plus button and you can have the option to add it as an overlay. It's really easy. You just kind of have to play around with it, and when you first start editing it takes a little bit longer, but the more you do it, you definitely start to adapt to it and it becomes pretty simple. Karen04KA, any tips on how to get started? What equipment do you recommend? So you're going to hear a lot of people say this, but my tip for getting started is just to do it. And I'm sure you've heard that so many times, but you can think of a ton of reasons why not to do it. Oh, I don't have the right camera. You know, what if people don't like what I have to say? That's silly. I say just put something out there. Make sure you're passionate about it. That is the key. So for example, if you're really passionate about makeup and you want to film makeup tutorials, put it out there. I started out with makeup and my first tutorial was terrible, but that's what got me on the path where I'm like, okay, this might not have been that good, but next time, the next video, I'm going to try to get better, and you just work off of that. But you never know to your start. You definitely don't need fancy equipment. I would just say use your iPhone in front of a window. That's a good way to start. And then if you want to like set up a background, when I did videos back in the day, I would have different curtains that I used, and you can just go to Joann Fabrics, get those. I now have like a little filming space that I use. Really doesn't matter. It is to start with your phone, put it in front of a window, and then if you realize that you really enjoy it, later on you can upgrade to a camera. You definitely don't have to. I did have a Canon Rebel TXI, and then I upgraded to a Canon EOS 90D, but the lighting is key for the quality for sure. So I say just do it. So To start, if you're going to use your phone, you could use your phone, and then I'd maybe recommend getting like a little tripod. There's a really, really good one on Amazon. I can link it down below for you. And then if you don't have a spot where there's good lighting, you can invest in lights. You don't have to, but like right now, I have 2 soft boxes and then I have a ring light. I got all of these off of Amazon. You don't have to use all 3 if you don't want to. Like I said, you can just use the window, but I'll link all of my equipment down below if that helps. But I say, just do it. Don't be afraid. You're going to do great. Michelle would love to know your earning potential from YouTube, but no one will ever give info. It's always vague. I get it, but it's probably one of the most things people are curious about. And then I reached out and I said, you know, do you want to know anything specific? She said, thanks for asking. For me, since I've considered maybe starting a channel, I'd be interested to know the earning potential based on views for video. I understand the complication because of affiliate links, but even a range would be helpful. I also understand this is confidential and personal, so if you don't want to share, I get it. I really enjoy watching your videos and content. We have similar tastes. So thank you for your question. So YouTube is great because there is a ton of earning potential. So I think I've done a video specifically on how I make money on YouTube, but let me do a quick little summary. So I make money now 3 or 4 ways. The first way are ads on my videos. So that's Google AdSense, right? So if I'm filming a video, you'll notice some of my videos might have ads. I get paid, you know, based off of that. It's kind of a hard calculation. I'll be honest with you, I haven't quite determined how to determine the calculation of the ads, but it's definitely based on the number of views. So if you're someone who has like millions of subscribers, that's great. But if you don't have a ton of views, you know, views are what really matter. That's how you're going to, you know, make your money. And then once a month, I'll get one lump sum that goes directly to my bank account. So that's how I make money through Google AdSense. The second is through affiliate links. So if I'm doing, let's say, a get ready with me and I share with you a bunch of, you know, makeup products, I can link it all in the description. And if you click on that link and you make a purchase, I will get a kickback. Now, it's not a huge kickback, but you know, all of that does add up. And I use Like to Know It, or it used to be Reward Styles. And then I want to say it's every other Friday that I get paid through that. And also kind of going with that, there's a new thing on YouTube now called YouTube Shopping. So if I'm talking to you, let's say I'm talking about the new Dior blushes, right? It'll appear up on the screen, and if you click through that, I will get a kickback. Actually, a lot of the events that I've gone to 2 YouTube events in New York City, and those were both YouTube shopping events. So they kind of teach you a little more about how they're trying to make it more efficient. But I will make, you know, a little bit of a commission through that. And again, it's not much, it's not a ton, it's just like a little percentage. And that will be included in my monthly YouTube amount. And then the next way you can make money is obviously through sponsorships. Now, I feel like you have to be careful with sponsorships. Well, that's just my opinion. You know, if you have a channel, you can definitely do whatever you want, but I don't work with a ton of brands. I only try to work with the brands that I like and use. I'll give you an example of some of the top ones that I've worked with, you know. So I've worked with Idyl multiple times in the past. You know, I love their earrings and their add-ons and their necklaces. So I've worked with Idyl. I've worked with Rose Forever. You know, I have their roses in the background there. I have them throughout my house. So I really do like them. I worked with Ana Luisa. I really like their layered necklaces. So I, you know, try to be a little choosy about the sponsorships that I pick, because I really do want to make sure that it is authentic when I'm talking about it. Like, I was really excited. I got to work with Dior Beauty, I want to say like a year ago, and that was a paid sponsorship. So that was really exciting to me, because you know that I share Dior Beauty all the time. I've spent so much money at Dior Beauty. I got to work with Saks Fifth Avenue one time. So I've been able to have some exciting sponsorships, but I don't do a ton. I really don't, because I know that if I'm watching videos and someone is always doing a sponsorship, it'll kind of make me question, do you really like this product, or are you only doing it because you got paid? And it can be hard, because especially for these influencers or YouTubers who have tons of subscribers, they're getting like tons of opportunities, and that would be hard to pass up. I am not at the level where I'm getting a ton of opportunities. I'm really not. And sometimes the problem with sponsorships is not that they necessarily tell you what to say, but they give you a guide of certain things you can say, and just for certain things I want to make sure I'm authentic. So anyway, so those are the main ways that you make money. Now I think what people specifically want to know, which this is what I'm guessing, is you probably want to know like how much I make. Varies. So I don't have like a set amount. It just depends. And it's tough because like for views, right? Like I can't make someone watch my channel, or I can't make someone buy a product. So it's really, really all over the place. It is. For some people though, the earning potential is huge. I think that was your question too. So sorry if I'm kind of blabbering on and on, but I know you probably want to know the specifics, but I'm probably not going to share the specifics. I hope you understand that. But the earning potential is unlimited. It's all in how much work you put in. That's the thing though, you know, sharing these links, right? It takes time because you have to make the photo collages, put it out there. And I also want to make sure that I'm, you know, sharing things I really love. I don't necessarily want to just push things on you. So anyway, the earning potential is great. It's as much as you put into it. So I hope that helps. VKY Chang, with so many established YouTube channels out there, is it still worthwhile to start one? I 100% think it is worthwhile. It is my little side business, my little side hobby, I guess you could say. I love it. Like I have such a good time, but you do have to keep in mind that it does take work. So I would recommend if you're thinking of starting a channel, you know, start it with your phone, film it, you know, go through the editing process, like upload and see how you like it. Don't invest in all the equipment until you know that you like it, because it definitely does take work. There's a lot of behind the scenes work that goes into it, and sometimes I get a little overwhelmed because I have a full-time job, husband, I have a daughter who is in a ton of sports, so we're all over the place on the weekends. So YouTube does take a lot of time, so it's definitely a balancing act, that's for sure. But I say it's definitely worth it. There's plenty of room for everybody. Arlene J. Courtois, what are your YouTube goals? I'll be honest, like I probably should write out my YouTube goals. I have not done that yet, and I know this is gonna sound weird and it probably won't make any sense, but I know a lot of people are like, oh, my goal is to be full-time on YouTube or whatever. But the problem I have is I have a career, I have my established career, and YouTube is my hobby. It's like my stress reliever. And if I start to treat it just like a business, it's gonna feel like I have two jobs, if that makes sense. So for now, my goal is to just continue to put out content that hopefully you guys want to see. If I get a new bag, I'll share it with you. If I do a review, I'll share it with you, and not put too much pressure on me. Now, that could hurt me because I'm not treating it like a business and really scheduled. I'm kind of filming as I can, so that could hurt me. So it all depends on what your goals are, but for now, mine is still to enjoy life, not be too stressed out, and then just do this as a hobby. Beauty Mark 81, easier to film and edit from iPhone or camera and laptop? So I personally think it's really easy to edit on my iPhone, but then a lot of people who have been doing it on their laptop might say that, but I've only done it on my iPhone. I don't think I've ever done it on a laptop, so I don't even think I'd know where to begin. So I say iPhone is easier. Sarah J. Herrick, can you really make a living off of it, and how do you claim taxes off your earnings? This is a great question. Oh my God, taxes. Oh, that's a whole nother thing. So first off, yes, you can make a living. Some of these YouTubers and influencers are making so much money, but again, a lot of it has to do with like the work that you put into it. So there is a ton of earning potential, that's for sure. And how do you claim taxes off your earnings? So what I do, any chunk of money that I get, whether it be from sponsorship, Google AdSense, whatever, I take 30 to 35% of that and I put it in another account that's called like taxes, right? And then at the end of the year, when taxes come around, I have that money saved. But certain things that I would write off, like let's say I got a new camera. Let's say I have my subscription to Canva. Let's say I have my subscription to Epidemic Sound, which plays music, right? Those are the types of things I can write off. If I'm going to a YouTube specific trip, like when I go to New York City for the YouTube shopping event, you know, you can write off those types of things. And I think it also depends on your content. Like if you're a beauty content creator, and you're buying like a ton of beauty products and it's strictly for review, you know, those are things that you can write off. So it all depends. So I try to be really like good about keeping track of stuff, and you know, we have meetings with our accountant just to kind of talk things over of what we can write off, what we can't. But I take 30% of all my earnings, 30 to 35%, put it aside, so that way at the end of the year I have money saved. Mai the Great, what other YouTube content do you like to watch? Oh my gosh, I like to watch so many content. I watch a lot of podcasts. Like, I really like Jeff and Jordan's podcast they were on Big Brother. I love them. I listen to Kristen Cavallari's podcast. I also watch a lot of, I love watching Maria Dragonova. She has great, luxury vlogs. I like watching Erin Nicole. She has great beauty videos. Mess has great videos. I watch all kinds of content. I really do, but I am pretty busy with work and then my own YouTube, so I don't get a ton of time. So a lot of times that will be at the gym or if I'm going for a walk or something like that. But there are a ton of great content creators out there, so you definitely should check them out. But there are more. Oh, Shea Whitney. Shea Whitney is my favorite. She's probably everybody's favorite. I love her videos. I never miss her videos. She's so good. Okay, I think I covered most of the questions, but if you have been thinking about starting a channel, I would say do it. I am so happy that I started my channel. I love filming YouTube videos. It's so fun for me and it's an escape. There are so many stressful things in day-to-day life that I feel like it's important for people to have an outlet, whatever that might be. And this is my outlet. I love creating content, putting it out there. And I also love this community. You'll find, specifically, right? I talk about luxury handbags a lot. I've also talked to so many other wonderful, amazing YouTubers who are into that too. There might be people in my life who really aren't into that, so it's nice to have a community where you can talk about things. Now, with YouTube, there are some negatives. Of course, you can get the negative comments, but you just have to have thick skin. Try not to let it get to you. Easier said than done at times. But I say if you've been wanting to do it, what is stopping you? This should be your sign to go ahead and do it. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out below. These videos are so fun. I love doing the Q&As. I hope you enjoyed, and hopefully I got everybody's questions. So thank you again for watching. If you're new to my channel, I'd love to have you hit that little subscribe button, and I would love to have you follow me on Instagram as well. I do a little more behind the scenes there, and I'd love to have you join me. Thanks again for watching. Have a lovely day, my friends, and I'll see you in my next video.